At this point, asking a gym bro what peptides do is the equivalent of asking a Redditor what Bitcoin is in 2017. This trend has boys playing chemist unsupervised and acting like they just discovered Compound V. But don't worry, this video will answer any questions you might be too scared to ask at this point. So, what are peptides? Why do you have to stack them? And how did Discord turn into the new Silk Road? Not the website, the literal 2nd century Silk Road. But instead of gems and tea, Chinese men are selling teenagers Retta and melanotan. Let's get into it. Peptides are short chains of amino acids that essentially tell your cells what to do. You have thousands of peptides in you right now. TikTok makes it sound like peptides literally just appeared out of nowhere and were designed with the sole purpose of making you more fuckable. But the first ever teenager to hop on peptides was 14-year-old Leonard Thompson. He wasn't like the OG clavicular or anything, he was just a kid, suffering from type 1 diabetes in the 1920s. To give you some backstory, peak 19th century medicine was treating animals like Jenga. Like, okay, I'm going to remove a third of this dog's brain, let's see if it dies. Oh cool, it's still alive. Let's try this on women that want to vote next. Two German researchers in 1889, following this scientific method, removed the pancreas of a dog, and it died. But before dying, it displayed symptoms of diabetes, so they concluded that the illness was somehow related to this particular organ. In 1910, Sir Edward Albert Sharpe Schaffer, a British physiologist with literally 4 names, theorized that patients with diabetes only had a single chemical missing in their pancreas. He named that chemical after the pancreatic islets, which are clusters of hormone-producing cells found in the pancreas. Insulin, as in the Latin word insula, meaning island. This was the first therapeutic peptide discovered just 10 years after the conceptualization of peptides. As I said, Leonard Thompson was the first patient to receive it, and it saved his life. Well, for a while. He died of pneumonia at the age of 26. Because believe it or not, insulin was discovered before penicillin. Now, insulin is a hormone peptide that regulates glucose. If you have an insulin deficiency, your body can't move sugar from your blood into your cells, and your cells will starve. ADH is a peptide that regulates water retention. Having a deficiency will lead to excessive thirst, frequent urination, and dehydration. ACTH is a peptide that stimulates cortisol production. A deficiency can cause severe fatigue, weight loss, and poor stress tolerance. EPO stimulates red blood cell production. A deficiency can cause fatigue, poor exercise tolerance, and general gouthness. And gonadotropin regulates the production of sex hormones. A deficiency will cause you to make a Reddit account. Frederick Banting and Charles Best had managed to isolate insulin from the pancreases of dogs and inject it into a human. For about 60 years, insulin was mainly extracted from farm animals, but some people had allergic reactions to animal insulin. The first biosynthetic insulin was made by cutting out insulin from humans, putting it inside E. coli, farming the E. coli that are able to produce it, and extracting the insulin from them. This was first done in 1978, and you might recognize the process used as gene splicing, which was invented just a few years earlier. But most of your favorite TikTok shop peptides are synthetic. They mimic the functions of natural ones, but often they are modified to be more potent, or like GLP-1 drugs, made to have the effect of the peptide last much longer. For example, melanotan, or the Barbie peptide, and wow, can you believe the new age tech bro equivalent of masculinity is taking a possibly cancerous amount of something called a Barbie peptide? Red-pilled free thinkers shooting up on Barbie juice really makes me want to go back to a previous save. Melanotan is the synthetic version of the alpha-melanocyte stimulating hormone. Both do the same thing, but the synthetic stuff degrades over a longer period of time and also makes your dick hard. Then there's BBC157, which is derived from the protective proteins and peptides found inside your stomach. The natural equivalent in your body helps your stomach not dissolve itself, and similarly, the lab-made version accelerates tissue repair and reduces inflammation. But so far, all of them seem to reduce inflammation. Why is everyone so inflamed? What are you guys eating? Is it seed oils? I bet it's seed oils. And here's something interesting. If a peptide is produced by your body, it cannot be patented, because that would be like patenting spit. So BPC157 is not patented. Modified versions that increase potency are. Alpha MSH cannot be patented, but melanotan was patented in the 80s. Because it isn't a one-to-one copy. Now, how are they made?
Jesse, we need to cook peptides. We need to cook peptides, Jesse.
Yo, Mr. White, peptides are gay, yo. Do you want to be a low-tier normie your whole life? Take this, Jesse. Why is it blue? It's copper peptides, Jesse. It's like injectable skincare, you idiot. Damn, this shit Kafka-esque, yo. Here's how you make peptides at home, if your home is a sterile lab environment. It's kind of like making a bracelet, but instead of different gems, you have 20 amino acids which you place in a strict order on a tiny polymer bead called a resin. And instead of chains or links, there are peptide bonds. The tricky part is that amino acids are chemically reactive in multiple places, so you have to make sure you can connect only the correct side of a gem by blocking the other sides. Wash away unwanted bits after every new gem, repeat over and over, and when the chain is complete, dissolve the resin. Now you have a lab-made peptide. Time to sell it to teenagers on Discord. This is oversimplifying it, like a lot. It's actually a very difficult process, and even one mistake ruins the whole thing. But now that you know how they're made, let's talk about the dangers of peptides. It's interesting that a lot of the people that have taken an interest in peptides don't even trust fucking nut milk, but trust something that enthusiasts refer to by the acronym only. Still, in my opinion, the big problem with peptides you buy online is not what they are or what they do. It's not the lack of evidence or conflicting results, it's that they're unregulated. In 2023, the FDA moved several very popular peptides from Category 1 substances to Category 2. That means the only way you can get those peptides today is through the, for research use only loophole. And I love how websites say not intended for human consumption, but the product is called Glow Stack, Big Muscle Bundle, or Escape the Matrix Brain Enhancer. Yeah, humans are using the fuck out of those. Ironically, by labeling peptides as posing significant safety risks, the FDA has made them 100 times more dangerous because people joining this frankly overhyped trend right now only have access to unregulated, unproven, and non-pharmaceutical grade chemicals off of the Biohackers HQ Discord server instead of a compounding pharmacy. This shit ain't even got a child safety lid. You might think you're getting something from a legit lab's website, but it's actually some dude bulk buying absolute garbage from Alibaba and making videos flexing all the money they made selling peptides. Fuck you. And say you get a bad batch. It can either do nothing or be toxic and have your body attack its own proteins. Not to mention, a contaminated dose can easily give you an infection, so you might get shredded, you might get sepsis. Either way, the cut is gonna be crazy. It's a big gamble. And since we've all become real desensitized to gambling, who says Wuhan Wansheng Biotechnology isn't selling a legit ARA 290 for $2 a pop over Telegram? Now, finally, let's talk about what happens when you take peptides. Here's some good news that nobody wants to hear. Unless you actually have medical issues, you're producing all the peptides you need, homegrown. But since peptides are a good thing, why not have more? Get ahead of everyone by having even more of the good thing. Some people have not seen Cyberpunk Edgerunners and it shows. All the dudes that make it sound like you take a few jabs and instantly you look like Patrick Bateman, and chicks that say take peptides you can look moist and sticky all the time. Who doesn't want that? Yeah, that whole crowd is really overselling it to people who actually have no issues. If your body has enough of a hormone or signaling peptide, two things can happen if you take more of it. 1. Nothing. The peptides will just get broken down without giving you any benefits. Or 2, a temporary boost, and then nothing. You take the Barbie peptide and you get that nice provincial wood finish. Your body adjusts and you need a higher dose. You can take the higher dose, but then receptors become overstimulated and less responsive. Once that happens, you're not even producing enough of the natural equivalent on your own. Think of it as vitamins. Vitamins are good, but your body only needs a certain amount. You take too much vitamin C, you piss it out. Does nothing. But take too much vitamin D and it won't make your bones stronger. It will give you kidney stones. Now, if you're suffering from obesity, hormonal imbalance, if you have fertility issues, or are genuinely training very hard and putting stress on your body, peptides are something that has been proven to help. And like, JHRPs won't awaken your Sharingan or anything, but you will bulk up. You will get nice fruits. But will they be fruits of your labor? And would they be as sweet if they're not? Is there no joy left in the process? of self-improvement. I get it, peptides are mostly a trend built on FOMO. If they were legal and if there was more information, I don't think as much people would care. At least I think the interest is encouraging more research in a field where due to patent law, there isn't much money to be made. But it's far more likely that the next step is Discord servers dedicated to selling those peptides that you need to heat up in a spoon before injecting. Okay, so we talked about the dangers a little bit, we talked about results a little bit. Now, I don't want to sound like the small font on the bottom of a peptide reseller's crusty webpage, but there are many side effects. Nausea, dizziness, death, and women still not liking you. Especially with very intense formulations like Retta. But I am going to say that a lot of those side effects will come from the fact that nobody can give you a clear answer when it comes to dosing. Itoshi is not a compound chemist. He is 18 years old and you're gonna inject your body with so much Retta your guts are gonna turn into a washing machine during the last spin cycle. At least it's good to see that looks maxers want to get their misinformation from their colleagues and not chat glorified fucking autocomplete. And let's address the elephant in the room. Pretty cool, right? Don't know how it got in. All the rich and famous people that are endorsing peptides and actually get good results because they get routine labs done. I'm sorry, but this too is pay to win. Peptide levels can change rapidly, but it's even harder to test receptor sensitivity because sometimes it's receptors that resist the hormones. For example, people with insulin resistance often have high insulin levels. I'm sure there are plenty of places that now offer full hormone panels but don't test resistance. Also remember, the people who have a Wolverine stack are also taking steroids. And while peptides signal your body to produce certain hormones, steroids are hormones that directly override your body's natural systems. And I know it's in the human starter pack to think, this seller's legit, I can probably dose this myself based on a vibe, and I will get good results because my heart is pure. But you're giving the human body too much credit. Or too little. I mean, your brain can't even tell the difference between real and imagined stress. And you think it will know what to do with a full vial of stress decreasing, tan enhancing, dick hardening, inflammation fighting, whatever the fuck? Doubt it. Now, before I get to the conclusion, I wanted to try and figure out why peptides are so popular because it's like stacks are becoming the new 10-step skincare routine in terms of hype. This DIY aspect of looks maxing is very interesting to me. I feel like parents today aren't looking for drugs under the bed, they're looking for CJC and Botox. But searching for this information led me to watching some incredibly uninteresting and repetitive midpoint takes with journalists and YouTubers either frankly making fun of teenagers with eating disorders among other mental health issues, or fear-mongering using talking points that would have been relevant to looks maxing if it was 2012. And is now a whole separate thing. I really want to make a video about this, but until then, as a general rule, do not inject yourself with anything if you don't know where it came from, especially if it's blue. Trust your monkey brain and don't let your struggles override your self-preservation instincts. Okay, bye.